me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! No doubt about it. I gotta get another hat.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Well, it seems that fate has taken a hand in the game of Mooseberry, Who's Got the Mooseberry? For Rocky and Bullwinkle and the two spies are all getting ready to sail to the same place, Pottsylvania.
Yeah, 'cause that's the only place in the world to get mooseberries.
But Boris and Natasha, posing as tourists, seem to be carrying coals to Newcastle, for they are taking a mooseberry bush to Pottsylvania. Or are they?
Sorry, Miss O'Brien. You can't take that aspidistra with you.
He's not aspidistra, he's real.
Don't argue with me, Mikushla. Of course he's what he said. Why couldn't we take it?
Regulations. No plants can go abroad. We're on the lookout for a stolen mooseberry bush.
Well, maybe your sister can be plant seeder for us.
But I don't have...
This way.
Boris, what are we going to do?
I'll think of something.
Better hurry, look.
Sure enough, our heroes were headed right for them.
Quick, Natasha, put this on your head.
On my head?
Hurry. Okay, officer, we go on board now.
Now, just a minute, Mr. O'Brien. What's that?
That bigor is my wife's new hat. They get crazier every year, ain't?
Looks more like a bush to me.
Sir, you are criticizing my wife's taste?
Is that really a hat, lady?
Oh, you think I would wear anything this ridiculous if it wasn't a hat?
I guess not. Go ahead.
And the two spies left just as Rocky and Bullwinkle entered the room.
I could swear I'd seen those two somewhere before.
Anything to declare?
Yeah, I declare I've seen him too.
They're right behind us. What we do?
Get orders from Central Control, of course.
But how? Radio's packed in trunk.
You fool, Natasha. Luckily, Boris Bedenoff is always ready for emergency. Meet Dmitri.
Dmitri?
His carrier pigeon.
But pigeon is too slow.
Oh, not this one. He's only jet pigeon in world.
And quickly, Boris wrote a note, attached it to the pigeon, and sent it on its way. Just a few moments later, Dmitri arrived at spy headquarters overseas and delivered Boris's message. But unfortunately, the jet speed had blown off all his feathers, and he couldn't make the return flight.
We must contact Badenoff by radio.
So a moment later...
Calling Boris Badenoff. Hello, Boris.
Who said that?
His radio in trunk.
Return with Mooseberry Bush. Shh. Bring Bush to headquarters.
Quiet!
Anything the matter, sir?
Oh, yeah, Captain Pitchfuzz. No, it's fine.
Make report to G1.
What's that?
It's me. I'm went willing to I throw my voice.
Use code 3.
Say, that's great. I couldn't see your lips move at all.
Oh, it's nothing.
Make reports Tuesdays and Thursdays.
You must join the ship's concert.
Glad to. Quick, Natasha, into the cabin.
And the spies dashed into their cabin just as Rocky and Bullwinkle started up the gangplank.
Well, we're off to Pottsylvania, Bullwinkle.
Yeah, nice of all these people to come see us off.
Hello, fearless leader. What we do about moose?
You sure you got secret ingredient?
Right here.
Good. Then for moose. You heard me.
Boris, look. Coming up gangplank is moose and squirrel.
Man, what magnificent luck. Somebody down there likes me.
Sure enough, the gangplank went just past the spy's cabin, and in an instant, Boris had snipped the cables that held it up.
Look out, Bullwinkle!
And the gangplank plummeted down between the ship and the dock. On the bridge of the liner, Captain Peachfuzz was all at sea.
Get them out of there before they're squashed.
He's just a little late for that. Oh, you beautiful doll, you great big beautiful doll.
And as the crowd watched horrified, the huge liner slowly swung closer and closer to the dock and nearer to squashing our heroes. Don't miss our next episode, Summer Squash, or He's Too Flat for Me.
And now it's time...
Time for that jolly juggler, Bullwinkle.
Oh, dear.
3 at once. 1, 2...
And now here's a feature you're sure to like.
Words of wisdom are food for the mind, right, Junior?
Right, Pop.
All right, then. Is your head hungry?
famished.
Good. Open wide and I'll feed it. You ready?
Shoot.
It is one thing to propose, but quite another thing to execute. That, my boy, is a very wise saying. Feel smarter now?
No.
Yeah, I thought so. No. What do you mean, no?
I don't understand what it means.
It means easier said than done. Simple?
Yeah, but I still don't get it.
Well, then I shall tell you the story of the mice who belled the cat. That'll explain everything. For years, the mice had been living in constant fear of their archenemy, the cat. Never did they have a moment's rest, for the cat would ambush them, chase them, jump up and down on them, and toy with them every chance he got. Finally, the poor little mice could stand it no longer, and they called a meeting to see what could be done about their dreadful situation.
Something's gotta be done. Look, I already got a gray hair.
And I'm a nervous wreck. The whole trouble is that cat's too quiet. He's always pussyfooting around. We can never hear him coming until it's too late.
Many plans were discussed and rejected. Then at last a young mouse named Murphy got up and proposed.
Oh, why don't we just hang a bell around the cat's neck? Then we could always hear him coming in time to make a getaway.
Murphy's plan was very well received, and it was immediately put to a vote.
All those in favor of Murphy's idea, say aye.
Aye.
Now, being that it's Murphy's idea, all those in favor of letting Murphy bell the cat, say aye.
Aye. Aye, aye, aye. Nay, nay.
But the ayes had it, and Murphy was elected.
Good luck, Murphy. Anything you'd like to say before you go?
Yes, I got a big mouth.
Having no choice but to at least try, Murphy set out to find the cat, which, as he feared, was no trouble at all.
What have we here?
Would you believe me if I told you that I'm a beaver?
What do you think?
I think you think I'm a mouse.
That is correct. Food.
And Murphy was forced to flee for his life, narrowly escaping capture by ducking through a hole in a fence inches ahead of the cat.
Oh, that was a close one. If I ever expect to get this bell on that monster, I'll have to think up some way to trick him.
Reasoning that his task should be quite simple, if only he could put the cat to sleep, Murphy quietly crept up behind the cat and ever so softly whispered into his ear.
Rock-a-bye, pussy in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. Oh, boy, it worked. But just to make sure, are you asleep, cat?
What do you think? Food?
I think I goofed.
That is correct.
And again, Murphy had to run for his life.
This time I'll take a more direct action. I'll knock him cold. Then he can't play tricks on me.
And boldly walking right up to the cat, Murphy hit him with all his might.
Well, hello there, Food. Oh, what a shame. You broke your bat.
So I did. How do you feel?
I got a slight headache, but other than that, just fine.
Would you consider giving me a 5-minute head start?
What do you think?
I think it's out of the question.
That is correct.
Now, Murphy was not a mouse to give up easily, and striking on a plan with which to outsmart the cat, he carefully put the collar with the bell into a box, wrapped it as a gift, and then placed it where the cat would be sure to see it.
To the nice cat from a friend. Oh, boy, a collar with a little bell on it. Oh, just what I've always wanted.
The cat quickly put it on and was overjoyed with his new gift.
Ting-a-ling, ting-a-ling.
It worked. Never again will he be able to sneak up without us hearing him. Ah, he's coming now. He won't fool me this time. He's coming from that direction, and he's getting closer and closer. Now I can get ready to run because he's right. Whoops!
Ice cream. Get you nice ice cream right here, ice cream.
Well, what do you know? Well, if that's Ice Cream Man, what happened to the cat?
What do you think?
I think this is the biggest boo-boo I've made yet.
That is correct.
And so you can see, after all was said and done, more was actually said than done. You understand now, Junior?
I sure do, Pop. The moral of the story is that if you fool with bells, you're apt to get told off.
Huh? Yeah, well, yeah, that's one way to put it, yes.
watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Well, Rocky and Bullwinkle are up to their necks in trouble, and in water, too, for Boris Badenov dumped them into the harbor and a huge ocean liner began to squeeze them against the dock.
It's coming closer, Rock.
Up on the bridge, Captain Peter Peachfuzz, with his customary efficiency, was giving a series of conflicting orders.
Haul the hawser, half ahead, full astern, batten the hatch, bloop the bleep, smartly now.
But still the ship inched inward.
I can't hold it off, Rock. I'm folded up like an acorn bean.
The crowd gasped, for now there was only one thing between our heroes and disaster: Bullwinkle's antlers.
Will he hold, Bullwinkle?
It ain't the antlers I'm worried about. It's that space in between.
Here, catch this rope.
But in the excitement, Captain Peachfuzz let the rope go on the wrong side of the ship. Fortunately, it caught on a passing speedboat, and slowly but surely the liner was pulled outward. A moment later, the boys were being hauled aboard the SS Andalusia in a cargo net. Everybody was overjoyed at the rescue. Well, almost everybody.
Dear diary, today I killed off moose and squirrel. Weather continues fair.
Boris, look, they're safe.
Raskolnikov! Now I got to erase whole page.
Well, the Andalusia finally got underway. For 2 days, the two spies remained hidden in their cabin. Then one morning...
Boris, look at mooseberry bush.
Sure enough, the mooseberry bush looked terrible. Its leaves had lost their luster, its branches drooped sadly. The spies quickly summoned the ship's doctor.
It's simple. This plant is seasick.
Seasick?
Yes, I recommend you get it out in the air and sunshine. A few quick turns around the deck every day should do the trick.
But that wasn't as simple as it sounded.
Look, it's moose and squirrel. Hide quick.
And the spies ducked out of sight as our heroes passed.
All clear, Natasha.
They are bound to find us sooner or later, Boris.
Come. We'll think of a way.
And so the next time Rocky and Bullwinkle came around the corner of the deck, they saw 3 new passengers in deck chairs.
Hello there, fellow sailors.
Are you having a bon voyage?
It's bit of all right, old chappie. Pip, pip, and all that sort rat.
Say, you must be English.
Well, I guess our little secret is out, my dear. Allow me to introduce myself. Sir Thomas Lippin Boris at your service.
Not Sir Thomas Lippenboris, the millionaire yachtsman.
Of course, old boy. See, it says so on card. And this is my wife, Lady Alice.
Howdy.
Charmed, I'm sure, darling.
And this is my Uncle Chamandiali, pronounced Chomley.
Hi, I'm Rocky, and this is Bullwinkle.
Pronounced Binky.
Sorry, chaps, Uncle Chomley is taking nap right now.
Looks like a keen idea.
Well, then why don't you have lie down, old chappie? Here, use mine chair. We will take walk around deck with your little friend.
Well, that's mighty thoughty of you.
Boris, you're leaving Moose with Uncle Chumley?
Of course. Then Squirrel go with us. And when we're alone, you get it?
I get it.
So will Squirrel. Come along now. Last one around the deck is a saggy crumpet.
And as Rocky went trustingly into the dark shadows of the boat deck with Boris and Natasha, Bullwinkle lay down next to Uncle Chumley. But when a stray breeze blew away the handkerchief over Uncle Chumley's face, it wasn't a person at all, but the mooseberry bush in disguise. Will Bullwinkle catch on for once? And what about Rocky, all alone with Sir Thomas and Lady Alice? Don't miss our next episode, The Earl and the Squirrel, or The March of Crime.
And now for all you knowledge seekers, here's Mr. Know-It-All.
Hi there! Today's subject is how to open a jar of pickles. The simplest way to open a jar of pickles is to unscrew the lid, turning gently from left to right. Oh! If that doesn't work, turn it right to left. Oh! Well, there are other ways of opening it. Putting the jar under hot water will usually do the trick, and if you happen to be in Yellowstone Park, the best hot water comes up out of Old Faithful, the geyser. You place the jar right over the hole, taking care to be well clear before the geyser goes... When you get out of the hospital, you take a slightly different approach.
I got the hammer, Mr. Know-It-All.
Splendid, splendid. When the lid is tapped, it is certain to loosen. Now, when I nod my head, you hit it with the hammer.
Right, Bullwinkle. Huh?
I think I made that perfectly clear. I said, when I nod my head, hit it with the hammer.
If you say so.
Okay, I nod thusly and... If everything else fails, we climb to an altitude of 5,000 feet and hurl the jar and ourselves earthward. Pocahontas! But if you really want to open a jar of pickles...
Wait a minute, Mr. Know-It-all. That isn't a jar of pickles. That's a jar of jelly.
No wonder I couldn't open it. It's jammed.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. See? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Wrong hat.
And now it's time to meet Mr. Peabody.
Hello again. Peabody here.
Shall I set the Wayback Machine, Mr. Peabody?
Please do, Sherman, for the year 1807.
And the place?
New York Harbor and the banks of the Hudson River, where we'll meet Robert Fulton. In the flash of an eye, Sherman and I were transported to the end of a long pier. In front of us was Fulton's so-called Folly, the steamboat Clermont. Oddly enough, she wore a for sale sign.
Either of you interested in purchasing a boat?
No, thank you, Mr. Fulton.
She's very yar. Make a nice gift for the folks back home.
Why is the Clermont up for sale?
The race. Today's the day I'm supposed to race against Robert E. Leach's clipper ship. That's her over there at the starting line. And that's Leach leering over at us. He's the meanest skipper afloat. Only way I can prove that steamboats are faster than sailing vessels is to beat him in a race.
Why doesn't Mr. Leach believe in steam power?
He owns a sail factory.
Oh.
Then race against him and beat him.
Can't.
Why not?
On account of every time I get out on the water, I get seasick.
Can't you take pills?
Pills you have to swallow with water. And I get ill just looking at a glass.
I'll bet Mr. Peabody could help you.
What can you do, Mr. Peabody?
Practically anything, Mr. Fulton. We boarded the Clermont and cast off from shore. And just in time, too, for the signal was given. And the race was on. The Clipper was a speedy craft, but no match for the Clermont, and we quickly forged into the lead. Sherman and I were behind the wheel. As for Fulton, he wasn't in the least bit seasick, mainly because I had decorated his cabin walls with a mural. The Arizona desert. A man could never get seasick out there.
This sure is exciting, Mr. Peabody.
By the way, how high is our steam pressure?
300 pounds, Mr. Peabody. Whoops, I mean 0.
What?
Something must be wrong. We're slowing down.
A quick investigation of the boiler room showed that our engine crew had deserted.
Look out the porthole.
Ah, so Mr. Leach is behind this.
That Clermont is moving so slow, you'd think it was a hotel.
Shall we give him the secret weapon, Captain?
Not yet. We may need it later.
How much pressure is there now, Sherman?
200 pounds, and she's climbing fast.
Excellent. At this rate, we'll catch Leach in no time.
But golly, without a crew, who's firing the boiler?
Go and see. Sherman was amazed to find Robert Fulton busily shoveling coal. You see, I had painted the engine room to look like the North Pole and told him he'd freeze if he didn't keep the fire going. It wasn't long before we were narrowing the gap between ourselves and the Clipper.
It grieves me sorely to report this, Captain, but you know that steamboat behind us?
Yes?
It is now in front of us.
What? Quick! Lighten the ship. Throw all the excess baggage overboard.
We've tossed everything over the side, Captain, but we're still not making any headway.
Then the ship must be made lighter. How much do you weigh, Fortescue?
185, Captain.
Well, give my regards to Broadway.
From the looks of it, Sherman, Mr. Leach is approaching his wits' end.
And we're pulling away from him every second.
Think they have me beaten, eh? Well, I still have my secret weapon.
Well, that's not fair, Mr. Peabody. Robert E. Leach must have 100 men rowing for him.
Yes, and they're using the Harvard stroke, I believe. Oh, well, Sherman, to misquote an old adage, where there's fire, there's smoke. So saying, I took a large container of black ink, poured it down the Claremont smokestack, and moments later we were discharging a dense smoke screen. Needless to say, our adversary's vision was thoroughly impaired. So much so, they ran aground. The Claremont was an easy victor. You may stop shoveling, Mr. Fulton. The race is over. You've won.
I can't stop. You know how long these winters are up here.
Our job completed, Sherman and I stood on a pier as the Claremont proudly steamed her way back down the Hudson.
It would have been just awful if Robert E. Leach had won the race, wouldn't it?
Yes, but at least we have one thing to thank him for.
What's that?
The term paddle wheel. Appropriate punishment, don't you think?
And now...
Hey, Rocky! Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Ooh, don't know my own strength.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Well, that mighty monarch of the seas, the SS Andalusia, is plowing on her way to Pottsylvania, home of the mysterious mooseberry bush. Little does Bullwinkle know as he basks in the sunshine that right beside him is the very bush our heroes are seeking, disguised as Sir Thomas Lippenborough's Uncle Chomley.
Nice day, ain't it? Must be beef. I say it's a nice day! He ain't beef, but he's pretty dumb.
Meanwhile, Rocky has started for a turn around the deck with Sir Thomas and Lady Alice, who bear a striking resemblance to his old enemies, Boris and Natasha.
Come on, Sir Thomas. This sea air's wonderful.
I say, slow down a bit, old plum pudding. We must catch a spot of bread, eh, what?
Okay. How's this?
But the pace that Rocky set was still too fast for the spies, and as much as they wanted to get near him, he was always just a little too far ahead.
Boris, I can't go on.
What's the matter?
My feet are killing me. I am used to high heels. The shoes are too comfortable. I can't stand them.
Come on, Sir Thomas.
Can't right now, old bean. Just remember, it's time for tea. Cheerio.
Okay, I'll see you later. Gee, he's a nice guy for a duke.
Back at the deck chair, Bullwinkle was still trying to start up a conversation with Uncle Chumley.
So that other fella says, "That's funny, you don't look Chinese." Ain't that a... Well, maybe not. Thinks he's so smart, won't even laugh at my jokes. Okay, don't talk. See if I care. You're just a sorehead, and I'll tell you to your face, too.
And Bullwinkle pulled away the handkerchief over Uncle Chumley's face.
Uh-oh. That there is a mighty sick uncle. Look at that face. It's green. Covered with little red spots, too. I wonder if he's catching.
A short distance away, Sir Thomas was gleefully boring holes in the bottom of a lifeboat.
Did I ever tell you, Natasha, I got a medal in drilling holes at USC?
University of Southern California?
No, Ukrainian Safecracking College.
Rocky! Rocky!
What is it, Bullwinkle?
It's Uncle Chumley. He's got a bad case of the red and green uglies and... Rocky, listen.
Just at that moment, a loud bell began to ring close at hand.
Lifeboat drill, take your stations, take your stations.
What is it, Rock?
It's lifeboat practice, Bullwinkle. Come on, this is our boat.
Mooses and squirrels first, women and children next.
Let's get in. Gee, it's getting foggy.
Little did our friends know that the voice on the speaker was that of Sir Thomas Lippenboroughs, who waited just out of sight with a pair of cable snippers.
Wait a minute. What about poor old Uncle Chumley?
Get him, Bullwinkle.
In an instant, the moose had grabbed the disguised mooseberry bush and dashed back into the lifeboat.
Don't worry, Uncle Chumley. You're safe with us.
Oh, he won't answer. Just sits there like a vegetable.
All set in number 5?
All set.
That's nice.
And the wily spy cut the cables holding the lifeboat on its davits.
Moose overboard!
And a moment later, Sir Thomas Lippenboroughs was waving farewell to the leaky lifeboat as it drifted away in the fog.
Cheerio, Moose. Goodbye, Squirrel. Peep, Uncle Chumley. Uncle Chumley?
Boris, what have you done?
Done? I've destroyed my own flesh and bush.
Well, our heroes have the mooseberry bush, but what good is it 1,000 miles from nowhere? Listen tomorrow for Adrift in the Mist or Fog Groggy.
Time again for Bullwinkle's Corner. Hello there. Today's poem is called Taffy. Taffy was a Welshman. Taffy was a thief.
You ain't kidding, Governor.
Taffy came to my house and stole a piece of beef. Hey, that's a whole cow.
So I'm betting my part a little.
I went to Taffy's house. Taffy wasn't home. Taffy went to my house and stole a marrow bone. Marrow bone, that's a whole leg of lamb. I went to Taffy's house. Taffy wasn't in.
You can't read. Sign says out.
I know you're in there. I can hear you breathing. Taffy went to my house and stole a silver pin. That's a pin?
Just poetic license.
Went to Taffy's house. Taffy in bed took up Marrowbone, hit him in the head. I went to Taffy's house. Taffy was in bed. And do you know what the last line is?
Of course. Took up Marrowbone and hit him in the head. What do you know? Unhappy ending.